Welcome to MRA. It has been the practice in MRA since last 10-12 years that after the budget and the passing of the Finance Act, MRA holds a press conference to share with the nation through you the performance over a period of 1 year starting from July to June and the changes made in the taxation system to be implemented in future and the future projects of MRA being conducted. We are grateful to all of you that you have always assisted us, helped us in dissemination of the information to the taxpayers and to the general population. And you have always helped us in communicating the message to the government about, to the nation, to the taxpayers about the new changes brought, and that helps us in the implementation of new schemes and the procedures. So with your permission, I will present the facts and the data by way of a presentation. After this, we will share with you one or two small video about the projects, and then we will invite the questions and we will be with you so long as you want us. Ladies and gentlemen, then let us see the presentation. The presentation would include the revenue collection for the year 21-22, the taxpayer services and MRA efficiency, tax compliance by legal professionals and doctors. We will share with you the facts. Then the agency collections, and then under customs we have trade facilitation, border protection, and then we will share with you the main projects and pipeline. About the revenue collection, during the year starting from July 2021 ending June 22, the MRA's total collection stood at 112.6 billion as against 89.3 billion in the preceding year, that was 2021. You would kindly recollect that during the year 1920, we had shared with you that we will cross the mark of 100 billion, but then unfortunately pandemic came, which affected the business, which many businesses were closed. But now we are out of the decline in the revenue collections because of pandemic, and this is the year where we have exceeded 100 billion. For this year and the year ending June 2023, we aim to achieve a collection of around 132 to 132 billion. So you would see that now in 1 year we aim and we expect to achieve an increase of 20 billion rupees. And if you would look at the breakup of the tax, the one of the biggest item is corporate income tax. And in corporate income tax during this year, we achieved an increase of 40% tax. From 11.8 we went to 16.5, In personal income tax, from 11.6 we went to 14, that is an increase of 21.1%. VAT, we achieved an increase of 33.9%. From 28.6%, we went to 38.3%. Excise duty gave us an increase of 7.8%. The total collection was 20.1%. Social Security, you would kindly see that since 2.5 years, we have been given the collection of the Social Security, NPF and LBA. And we have always achieved an increase of collection by more than 15%, and this year it was 27.4%. Gambling taxes gave us only 8.8% because horse racing season has changed, and other collections gave us an increase of 23.0%. So you would see that this year has been a very good year, and it appears that after a pandemic, the country's economy is on track, and it should give us little comfort that we have come out of that phase of decline in taxes. About the agency tax collection, we got an increase of national savings. We went to 2.5 billion, an increase of 8.3%. National CSR collection 3.4%. Training levy 52.9%. Portable retirement gratuity fund gave us increase of 4,000%. The Lotto fund gave us an increase of 19.5%. So agency collections have also improved significantly, and overall performance of MRA is better than this. When we talk of resurgence of tax administration, when we talk of the economy in Mauritius, we always talk of tourism sector, one of the biggest tourism sector, GDP 12%, and indirectly tourism again 12%, so 24-25% of the economy. So 2018-2019 was the normal period, and the 2021, this was the year of the border closure, so we went down to only 1 billion as against 7.4 billion, and 21-22 again the year was partly border closure, so we reached to 4.487%, and during this year we aim to cross about the 8 billion. So tourism sector have slowly improved, but in 2021 we still have the problem, and for this year we are on the track, but still the tax of 112 billion was achieved. Our efforts to boost revenues are from the date collections. We are trying to get date collections back on track. We are trying to raise assessments on non-compliant taxpayers, tracking non-filers. We've introduced automatic claims. There's a focus on high net worth individuals, and now MRA has adopted a new audit strategy. 18-19 pre-pandemic year, we had collected 3.7 billion as against 2.6 billion in 17-18. That was the highest year, unusually good amount of taxes. But during COVID-19, 19-20 was a COVID year, and we stopped making collections because the economy was in a bad shape. Taxpayers didn't have the money. Even payment of salaries was being compensated by government. So it went down to 1.73 and 1.72 in both the years. But again now we feel we are on track. The collection for the year 21-22 is 2.62 billion. Now this arrear collections which we say, it comes from the assessments we raise against the non-compliant taxpayers. We raise the assessments, taxpayers either pay the demand or they go to appeal and pay only 10%. So we had 7.2 billion assessments raised. So it went to only 1.8 billion because the borders were closed and the economic activity, there was a lockdown. But in 2021, there was a partial reopening and MRA started working. So collection was 7.6 billion, which again is 21-22 is 6.7 billion. So our standard now is around 7 billion of rupees we raise against the non-compliant taxpayers. And let's say the 15% is the 7% of the demand we raise. 202800, the returns we had received voluntary on 15th of October. And then we issue notices to the people who don't file the returns. Or we issue notices to the people who we feel they have a taxable income and we issue notices to them. And up to September 22, we received 231,000. So you would see around 29,000 new taxpayers or non-compliant taxpayers were brought to the net of the taxpayers. So the number now increased to 231. And we have a non-filers unit, a dedicated unit to track the non-filers. And non-filers unit, in 2021, we had identified 4,000 taxpayers, and in 21-22, the number went to 12,610. So this means again that the work has started and resumed fully, and the economy is in the shape, and tax administration efforts are giving the yield and the fruit. And tax declared after enforcement action, so in 2021, it was 45 million, and for the 2021, the additional notices we issued, we collected 224 million from them. So this entire number and the amount comes from our non-filer unit, which works mostly on the computerized notices. So we have now started issuing automatic claims. So as you are aware that we are reasonably good in IT services, and we have achieved almost 100% as far as return filing and payment of tax is concerned. Now we have started automating our work we do. So now we issue automatic claims, means without calling the taxpayer, we send an email and we receive the letter in email and we send a claim in email. So without asking the taxpayer to come this and explain. Then our effort is to monitor the high net worth individuals. It's our policy to monitor and audit the taxpayers who have more income than as compared to the taxpayers who have less income. This is a risk-based approach. So we have we started high net worth individuals. Now in this unit we have 2,750 taxpayers. During this year we subjected 60 taxpayers to audit and we raised an amount of 20 million rupees. 444 taxpayers were identified who were told some deficiency in the returns, and they amended the returns and paid the tax of around 3.3 million voluntary. I stated that MRA has adopted a new tax audit strategy, and that audit strategy is based on the self-declaration by taxpayers and audit by the MRA to see wherever there is a non-compliance. And now we have a third-party information everywhere in the tax administration. Refund is the issue where taxpayers make complaints against the tax administration that we take time in issuing refund and we don't issue the refunds. We issued 70% refunds in less than 10 days, next 21% in 10 to 20 days, and about 20 days were only 8.6%. Similarly, in the large taxpayers, you would see 98% repayments were made in less than 10 days. This is one of the efficient indicator, and it really gives us weightage when the World Bank does the appraisal of ease of doing business and paying taxes, ease of paying taxes, and this is the indicator which gives us a very good position. And as you are aware, we are in paying taxes, we are number 5 in the world. You would see that we have a system of instant refunds. Taxpayers file return, so we would see claims for processing 69,894 and instant refunds were 64,471. Means instant refund means taxpayer files a return and the system automatically issues the refund and credits the amount in the bank without any human intervention. About VAT refunds, MRA pays VAT refund to the persons who construct residential building or they construct or buy an apartment, and MRA during the year 21-22 paid 121 million rupees to 1,652 persons. So this is an indirect method of subsidizing the people who buy the houses. Similarly, MRA pays a refund to planters, fishermen, bakery, musicians on the items they purchase and pay VAT. So MRA paid 7.4 millions to 246 persons. I talked about widening the taxpayer base, that is the new registrations. So during this year, 39,027 new employees were registered, 4,844 self-employed, and companies, new companies, 11,009. This again tells us that economy is progressing, economy is in the right shape. And now what MRA has, that self-employed assistance scheme we implemented in 1920 and 2021, you would remember. So we have a data, and from that data we have identified 18,695 taxpayers. Now, with the introduction of CSG, and this function again has been entrusted to MRA, now we have a data on all salary taxpayers and whether liable to income tax or not. And from this, we use this data for identifying the taxpayers. And the 11,009 companies being registered, 50% of these companies are in the financial services. So, and 18% on trading activities. So you would see that there is a pull factor in the economy in all sectors. And this is again, now in VAT, we receive 92% of the returns in time and 8% returns we enforce afterwards. Personal income tax, 90%, 89% people file returns in time. Corporates, 77%. And then we have to follow those. So, compliance rate is reasonably good, and cost of collections, you would see many people say, whatever you collect, it is not even included in the cost you incur on this step, this step. Overall, MRA cost of collection was 2.2% in 1819, which came to 2.19% in 1920, again decreased to 2.14% in 2021, but again have gone above 2.21 in 21-22. The reason for this is that we had to pay the arrear of salaries after the new salary package. MRA's cost of collection on account of salaries is around 84-85%. So all other expenses, including rent, electricity, computers and all this, is only 14 to 15%. And I hope that year 22-23 will bring this cost of collection to around 2.10%. As I said that the payment of the returns and the taxes have been automated, and now we have achieved 98% of the payments are electronically automated. So we are now almost a cashless authority. We had at certain point of time 18 to 20 cashiers. Now we don't have to employ those many cashiers. The returns which people file during this year, 211,089 taxpayers, they filed pre-filled return. So we give them pre-filled return, as you know, and taxpayers just file the return on their basis. We have since 2 years given emphasis on anti-money laundering and on the prosecution cases, because a successful prosecution is really a deterrent for the non-compliant taxpayers. So under customs, under VAT, under income tax, we have prosecuted these people, if you would see, and we have gone to the court. So this is the message to the non-compliant taxpayers, that we would not only restrict ourselves to the imposition of penalties, but to chronic defaulters, we would go to the court for criminal proceedings. And the taxpayers can find himself in a very unpleasant situation. You would kindly recollect that we had a difficulty in FATF, and we were in grey list for some time, but that was again removed, and Mauritius is now compliant as far as AML CFT is concerned. So to do that, whereas other agencies like ICAC and police and financial services worked, MRA also was a relevant stakeholder. We have created a dedicated section in the FID Directorate assigned to anti-money laundering and CFT cases. For this, we have referred the 26 cases to law enforcement agencies like ICAC, FIU and IRSA for the money laundering offences. And we have exchanged information with law enforcement agencies in 643 transactions. And some of the cases we have compounded because they were small cases, and we recovered 6.5 million. So this is the work that team on site wanted to see, and we were able to tell them that it's not only the law the law is being implemented also. MRA does a online taxpayer satisfaction survey because that's the biggest thing for us. For us, it's the taxpayer satisfaction, and we ask all the taxpayers to opt for a survey while filing the return. So when you file the return, take 10 minutes more and rate us. And on the basis of that data, we have consolidated the results. So we conducted 3 surveys this year and 29,000 respondents combined. So in Mauritius, any survey would normally have 2,000 to 3,000 samples. Our MRA sample is more than 29,000. And what we saw that general public rated MRA's service, 85% rated it as good and very good. 13% were neutral. 2% said it's bad. The tax professional tax agents, 83% rated MRA as good and very good. 15% were neutral. Neutral means they don't express the opinion. And 2% is bad. In the customs stakeholders, 86% of them rated MRA as very good and good. 12% were neutral. 2% rated as bad and this. And this is the first time that custom has overtaken the other general functions, and customs rating as very good and good has increased as compared to previous surveys. And thank you, Mr. Ramvaran, for achieving this. In one case, we found that there were 2 sets of records. One set of documents means invoices. They were used for customers, and one was set for the VAT and all this. And we have referred the case for prosecution, and we have raised an assessment of 13 million, additional 13 million rupees. Another case was a non-resident Mauritian. He had lot of properties and couldn't explain the source of investment, and we raised 60 million rupees. In another case of real estate business, so turnover was declared and the prices were below market, and MRA made the adjustments and raised an amount of 83.6 million. Similarly, in another case, you would see that the taxpayer didn't file return for 3 years, did not respond to reminders. So we worked out, then company came forward, filed declares, and paid 18 million rupees. So there was another company was engaged in stone crushing, but was not paying the environment protection fee, and we raised an assessment of 26 million of rupees. Similarly, in one of the construction works, we made the VAT audit, and the taxpayer came voluntary and paid 34 million once we started the audit. The idea of sharing this with you is just that we want to say that yes, we are cognizant of the tax evasion and the avoidance of tax in the society. We take actions. We have the third-party information. We have the system which compares, and the idea through you is to let the people know that somebody is watching, and they have the proof that they are watching. Most of people, they observe that yes, lawyers don't pay any tax, doctors don't pay any tax. These are the 2 sectors who earn money, lot of money. Some of them or many of them are dealing in cash. So there is always an incentive not to pay tax. And yes, they do try. But then we do audit their cases. We have the information from their bank statements. So some doctor, even if he would take money in cash and will not issue the receipt, but ultimately money will reach the bank, or it will go to acquisition of property or acquisition of a good car. So we have the information of the cars, we have the information of houses, and we have the information of bank lodgements. So from there we this. But you will see that things are not that bad also. In 2006, the legal professionals paid a tax of 586 million. I am talking of a sector. And over a period of years, you will see the graph. So now in 2021, they have paid 2,790 million, 2.7 billion of rupees. And this is income. They declared an income of 586 million. Now they declare an income of 2,790 million, around 2.7 billion. And the tax paid on this in 2006-07 was 84 million, and now it is 259 million. So you would see that it has increased by 7 to 8 times the income as well as the tax. So definitely the deterrence of the information in possession of the MRA and the selection of cases for audit, it is evident that people are declaring good incomes and paying good tax. Similarly, the medical practitioners, 773 million was the tax, so income in 2006-07, and now it is 3.476 million, that is 3.4 billion. And the tax was 63 million, and it is now 373 million. So if you see, the income has increased by 25% every year, and tax has increased by 35% every year. So there is an evidence of the effectiveness of the MRA, and then we obviously have started selecting the cases by the computer system, and we are now getting a good assistance from our automation. The Portable Retirement Gratuity Fund, you all have written articles on this, you all know, and in this employer is required to contribute 4.5% of the monthly remuneration. So SMEs pay a little lower rate. Now this contribution to PRGF by employers is applicable from the month of January 22. So in 21-22, MRA collected 858 million rupees under the PRGF from 20,000 employers. And this is where I would seek your guidance to give a message to the employer and especially the employees that they should make sure that their employer is in compliance of sending the contribution for their pension, because otherwise at the time of retirement they will face difficulties. MRA pays negative income tax allowance to 23,000 beneficiaries, and amount paid is 51 million. Special allowance to 70,000 beneficiaries, the amount is 367. Subsidy on essential products. So when the price of wheat flour and the ghee and the milk started increasing, government decided to give subsidy to the wholesalers and the retailers so that they are able to sell at the controlled prices and asked MRA to give them the subsidy, because MRA has also data at the import stage. And you would see that the beneficiary is entire population and amount paid is about 1 billion rupees. Now salary compensation, this is paid to 43,284 employees, and CSG income allowance payment, we have made payment to 332,791 beneficiaries, and this is 1,000 rupees for the people drawing less than 50,000 rupees salaries. And then this scheme, primary employee, is giving an incentive to the SMEs and to employ the persons, wherein MRA has undertaken to pay 15,000 rupees for 1 year, 15,000 for 1 year, subject to the condition that they continue that employee for at least 3 years. Now we come to the effort of the government or the MRA to make the taxation system progressive, means less burden on less income and more burden on higher income. We had previously a tax rate of 15%, but now if you see that tax rate exceeding 3 million is now 25%, because there is a solidarity levy of 10%. And income exceeding 975,000 gets taxed at 15%. And income from 700,000 to 975,000 gets taxed on 12.5%. And income from 325,000 to 700,000 gets taxed at 10%. And income from 130,000 to 325,000, there is no tax. So the idea is that now the taxation rate is progressive, lesser income, less tax, higher income, more tax. Customs, the main aim is to provide trade facilitation. 86% of tariff lines do not have any customs duty. So customs duty is very low in Mauritius. The idea is not to increase the price of the commodities. Since Mauritius is a country where most of the goods are imported, the idea is that the consumer doesn't feel, so there are very less customs duties. So in customs, we processed 210,844 declarations during the year, and we scanned 527 consignments, because now we have scanners and it's non-intrusive inspection. And we have raised a demand of about 62 million rupees from the post control, because we say, goods have come, take it, but we will document your accounts afterwards. We want that goods to reach the importer in as much less time as come, and we will come to this time. When they find a difference in quantity, difference in the value, difference in the declaration, they raise custom offence reports, and we collected about 8.7 million of rupees by raising this, and from the custom offence report. And sometimes, as I said, we issued automatic claims, and by way of claims, we raised an amount of 124 million rupees. I talked about our effort to keep the dwell time, that is the time taken in clearance of goods, as low as possible. So our green channel goods, the goods imported by sea, the average time is 29 minutes, and air cargo is 32 minutes. In yellow channel, It is in sea it is 4.35 hours, and by air again it is 5 minutes. In red channel by sea, custom clears its goods in 13 hours, and by air it is 5.47. If you feel, and you rightly feel, that time taken is normally more, but that more time taken is because of if there's an involvement of other agency, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Forestry, any other ministry has to give clearance. We have assembled all the agencies at, RGCC import constructed near airport. They are there, they do the combined examination, but still they take little more time. And you might have seen that there are tax stamps on a bottle of whiskey and wine, and then some people don't comply these rules, so we detected 20 cases of non-compliance. I talked about integrated custom clearance. So this building was inaugurated on 26th January on the World Customs Day. This has an area of about 6,000 square meters. We have training room facilities, we have K9 compound, we have CCTV control room, and this building embraces green concept, means we have a solar energy, rainwater harvesting, so we use maximum natural lighting. So as I said, this is one-stop shop for cargo clearance. All the agencies would be there, and this will reduce the dwell time and reduce the cost of doing business, reduce the cost of the essential items. So this, in fact, is a very important project of MRA. These are some of the data about narcotics and CS. You report it and you see this. And we have, you will see this time that undeclared currency also amounting to 44 million rupees have been seized. And drugs, you have the separate item-wise breakup. We have 13 dogs. We have made a seizure of about drugs worth 117 million from 31 seizures. So what we are doing is that this narcotic seizures, how do we do that? That is totally on intelligence work. We do the exchange of information with customs, we do advanced passenger information system, and then our officers, they do the physical profiling also. So we have in fact detected, say, narcotics from the cake. So these aberrations, unusual things, become the indicators for our officers. And somebody imported cigarettes indoors. Again the question is, doors declared the value different from this. So they would have some indication, some indicator there. And you are aware that on this new year, 1st January 22, our officers found a newborn baby from the bin, from the airport bin, in the garbage bin, in the toilet bin. They had found a newborn baby. Newborn was taken out, given medical assistance, admitted in hospital, and it's a boy, Mr. Rambaran? It's a boy. So now boy is about 8-9 months old. And let's think of this. Obviously, when baby was found, then we identified the mother also. She had not yet cleared from the customs. So, people adopt many techniques, and we now have a full body scanner at the airport. So the persons whom we are suspicious of, we ask them to move in the full body scanner, and it tells us the narcotics swallowed by this. And we found one woman who had 29 pellets. You will see this in this full body scanner, Mr. Rambaran, that there were about 29 pellets of them. And now we have a central control room in customs. So goods are being examined at the seaport by the officers posted at seaport. The officers wear a body camera. They have the camera. So in the control center in the customs house, we see the custom officer examining the goods. We see how he is examining the goods. We give him instructions to examine this consignment and not this. So now it is a total transparency. So whatever they are doing is monitored by someone else also. So there couldn't be any collusion between our officers and all this. So this is a new addition, and these are the new projects. One is a search and seizure simulator to train our officers. X-ray body scanner, we talked of this. Then WCO container control program, again with the aid of the United Nations. Then we are buying again luggage and port cargo scanners. We have a vessel monitoring system. So we have at our customs house, we can see the vessels coming in, going out, how many are in the sea. By this we can identify the suspicious vessels also. And as we said, integrated single window for trade is in the pipeline. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks for very patient hearing. I know it was a little longer, but now let us see this video on full body scanner and then our project of e-invoicing, which has been started, and that will also bring revolution in the tax administration, especially the VAT administration.
MRA Customs is fully committed to prevent the entry of illicit drugs and narcotics in the Republic of Mauritius. During the last 5 years, MRA Customs officers seized dangerous drugs worth more than 5 billion rupees. Various modern tools are deployed by the MRA to fight the intrusion of drugs on our territory. A full body scanner and a drug loo are the latest equipment procured by the MRA in a timely manner. The full body scanner is operational since January 2022 at the Sir Sivasagar Ramgulam International Airport. It allows MRA officers to conduct body scans of passengers suspected of corporeal concealment of drugs. Within 15 minutes, the hidden drug, if any, can be detected by the scanner. The drug loo is then deployed for the purging of the concealed drugs. The full body scanner and the drug loo have been very effective During the last 10 months, 9 cases of drugs have been detected and more than 7 kilograms of heroin with a market value exceeding 115 million rupees have been seized. MRA pursues its fight against drug trafficking. E-invoicing is a procedure that aims to convert paper invoices and associated documents into an electronic process that allows the automatic transfer of billing information between the buyer and the seller through the tax authority. Before the invoice is issued to the customer, it is fiscalized. That is, the invoice details are registered in real time on the portal of the tax authority. In line with its breakthrough innovation strategy, the Mauritius Revenue Authority is implementing the e-invoicing project. How does e-invoicing work? At a point of sale, before an invoice is issued to the customer, the invoice details are submitted in real time to the invoice fiscalization platform of the tax authority. After the IFP has registered the transaction details, fiscal data is sent back to the POS with a QR code. A fiscalized invoice is then issued to the customer. E-invoicing enhances the automated processing of invoices, promotes record keeping, paperless storage of invoices, ensures a level playing field among businesses, and enhances taxpayer service, that is, pre-filled VAT returns. This pioneering project offers the possibility to verify whether a transaction has been reported to the MRA or not. Every business having an obligation to issue fiscalized invoices will have to ensure that their billing system is compliant with the technical specifications of the MRA. This project will be implemented in phases, starting with businesses having a turnover exceeding 100 million rupees.
Now, all over many tax administrations, they have introduced e-invoicing. By e-invoicing means if a taxpayer goes to a company and he buys anything where he pays VAT, the taxpayer will prepare an invoice, and before preparing this invoice, he would have a cash register, and this invoice, this information will automatically go to the tax administration in real time. We don't have to wait for him for 1 year to audit and all this. So we would be knowing that invoices are being issued, and the system will have this information, and it will facilitate in the auditing. Like all other modern countries, we should also adopt e-invoicing and support the efforts of the MRA to checkmate tax evasion and curb tax avoidance. Now we are open for the questions.
This project is supposed to go live next year, right? So we'll put in place all the infrastructure. In fact, last taxpayers are supposed to join in April 23, expected date. Number, we have got around 600.
600 large taxpayers or large companies, first phase they would join.
They will be compliant afterwards if they have registered, but they have not filed their return. Then if they file their return, they will be paid. But if they have not registered, of course, they are not compliant with the basic elements of registration itself. These persons, they will register after the 7th of June and they will not be eligible. In fact, the Prime à l'Emploi has been enacted in the Finance Act, which was gazetted in August, beginning of August, and we put in place the system in September. So from September to today, we have got 382 employers who have joined the scheme for approximately 829 employees. So those who have filed their claim for the month of August, they do it in September, those will be paid this week. So we have got approximately some 300 employees who will be paid this week, and where the employer has already filed their claims.
We thank you, everybody, for being very patient. It's really an honor, always every year, to be with you and to share our thoughts and to make you appeal that kindly help us, especially in e-invoicing, that this would increase efficiency and would be little difficult for the non-compliant taxpayers, and it's not going to add any burden to them. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen.